This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Welcome back to the history of Gun Fu. Last time, we talked about how John Woo took the ideas from wuxia movies and applied it to gunfights, single-handedly created the concept of Gun Fu. John Woo would continue his legacy in Hollywood, but by that point, Gun Fu was already out of his hand and become a global phenomenon. Films like Desperado and The Replacement Killers would continue the John Woo school of Gun Fu. South Korea adopted the style with a distinct Korean flair, and French cinema also dabbled in the art. But nowadays, when you think of Gun Fu, you think of only one style. For this video, we'll be looking at what I consider to be the main lineage of the Hollywood style Gun Fu. The fast, the efficient, and the most influential in our pop culture. From Hong Kong to Hollywood, from Chow Yun-fat to Keanu. Let's see how America adopted this art and created something new and original. Welcome to the rise of Gun Fu. It was 1999. Being a big fan of Hong Kong cinema, the Wachowskis incorporated copious amounts of Eastern elements into their sci-fi classic. That, of course, includes Gun Fu. Or does it? In reality, The Matrix has almost no Gun Fu in it. Even during a gunfight, there is more Kung Fu than Gun Fu. So, why am I talking about this? Because while The Matrix did not introduce actual Gun Fu, it introduced a sense of attitude. Long trench coat, dual-wielding pistols, mass destruction. If John Woo's gunfights are like dynamite, The Matrix is much more a wrecking ball. It's cold and raw. John Woo aims for big muzzle flashes and huge explosions. The Matrix prefers dust and debris, an unobstructed view of the kinetic destruction. John Woo likes the chaotic energy. The Matrix offers a much more cool-headed, tactical style. The lack of sparks and explosions would become a major visual distinction between the John Woo style and the Hollywood style. It may sound like I'm nitpicking differences, but there is a cultural reason behind the style shift. And it will all become clear when we look at our next movie. Equilibrium is a 2002 dystopian sci-fi movie. The main character is a law enforcement officer who practices the art of gun kata, a firearm-based martial art. Yes, he takes Gun Fu literally. Gun kata is flashy, is romantic, is very much still a type of Gun Fu, but it feels drastically different from the John Woo style. As its name suggests, gun kata often looks like a kata, a choreographed routine. Instead of injecting momentum into your bullet by swinging your gun, gun kata's movement is always steady. The gun just glides past the target without interruptions. It is smooth and effortless. If the John Woo style is an angry punch, Equilibrium is a sharp knife cutting through a piece of tofu. It's a very different kind of satisfaction. So, what do a wrecking ball and a sharp knife have in common? Well, they are both cold and unemotional. They share the same attitude. Compared to the fury displayed in John Woo movies, all shooters in The Matrix and Equilibrium perform best when they are calm and razor-focused. I think the differences originated from different readings of gunfights in westerns. No doubt, John Woo took a great deal of inspiration, directly or indirectly, from Western classics. What John Woo perceives as momentary, explosive actions, the American audience may instead see speed and accuracy, two things that are valued in American gun culture. They see an attitude displayed by the gunslinger: calm, confident, fearless, reserved, razor-focused. That's why Equilibrium has this slicing through your enemy feel. It implies a level of accuracy that John Woo movies lack. The action may not be as impactful, but it makes the killer feel much more lethal. The skill of the gunman is much more important than the gun itself. Going forward, this accuracy is the key distinction that sets the Hollywood School of Gun Fu apart. Before we move on, let's give a shout out to today's sponsor. Do you know you can set up an online store with Squarespace? That's the tip of the day. Simply choose from the vast library of templates and edit from there. You can even set up variations for the same product, group them into categories, or set them as featured products. Options are comprehensive, but the setup is easy and intuitive. Head to squarespace.com/accentedcinema and use the code accentedcinema to get 10% off your first purchase. And don't worry, you retain ownership of everything you put on the Squarespace platform. All data can be easily retrieved at any time. Visit squarespace.com/accentedcinema and get started right now. With the success of both John Woo and The Matrix, a wave of gun fu films took over Hollywood. A million different styles were attempted, some more successful than others. Underworld, released in 2003, is essentially a Matrix clone, but with vampires, werewolves, and guns. But this is no cheap imitation. Look at the gun swings, as well as the framing and the editing. It combines the more impactful techniques of John Woo with the stoic attitude from The Matrix. Guns in this movie pack an unreasonable amount of bullets and firepower. It is yet another idea of gun fu taken literally. The stronger the wielder, the stronger the guns. And since the wielders are vampires with superpowers, the guns have superpowers too. It is, once again, more about the gunslinger, less about the gun. Collateral, a 2004 thriller about a taxi driver being forced to work for a hitman, is generally not considered to be a gun fu movie. But this scene, with its grounded and realistic approach to close-quarter combat, opened people's eyes to a new possibility. The techniques exhibited by Tom Cruise are actually real-world combat techniques. Fast and lethal, turns out there really is a firearm-based martial art, and it can look just as good. This is just a hint for what's to come. Wanted, released in 2008, took the abilities of the gunslingers to a ludicrous level. In this movie about a secret society of assassins, accuracy continues to be a key quality of a good shooter. These characters can hit the targets in one shot, even in impossible scenarios. Assassins can curve their shots, or hit a bullet with a bullet, or does both at the same time. It's a very different kind of gun fu, one where the scale is small, but the technique is freaking dumb and stupid and spectacular, and I love it. After 10 years of constant experimentation, the Hollywood School of Gun Fu already looked vastly different to the John Woo School. Defined by its emphasis on speed and accuracy, stoic heroes with a badass attitude, what started off as an aesthetic became a tool to build up a character. It enhances the world building, it makes characters feel heroic and otherworldly. It feels like an amazing next step in the continuous evolution of Gun Fu. But it wasn't without its flaws. For 10 years, this new direction rarely manages to match the level of energy that is iconic in the John Woo films. You just don't feel the individual shots, it lacks the visceral impact. Look at the fellow school, where bullet spray remained the dominant style. You can't help but wonder, what's missing? Enter the 2010s. Somehow, Matthew Vaughn's Kick-Ass became the film that changed action cinema. Yes, for 10 years, Hollywood-style gun fu stayed too sterile. American filmmakers rarely had the gut to punch the audience in the eyeballs. Having an F-bomb dropping 13-year-old mercilessly slaughtering a hallway full of goons is precisely the sort of visceral middle finger audience crave. She is fast, she is accurate, and she is brutal. After all, it is John Woo's ultimate thesis, that violence is beautiful. Without violence, gun fu is just fancy gunplay. Vaughn would continue refining this sense of violence in his 2014 movie, Kingsman. In this breathtaking, ultra-violent action scene, Hollywood Gun Fu finally has something that can rival the best of John Woo. The efficiency enhances the character, the violence heightens the audience emotion. With all the pieces now in place, this is the perfect time for a movie to utilize this tool to its fullest potential. The John Wick series has become synonymous with gun fu, and that not only speaks to the quality of the films, but also just how much it captures the heart of the art. The series continuously built up John Wick as a stoic character, hinting at his unparalleled skills, passive by nature, ruthless by trade. It is painting the exact same character and attitude that Hollywood Gun Fu is made for. And when the gun fu action shows John Wick as this efficient killer, one shot, one kill, razor focused, the story, in turn, agrees with it.
John Wick is a man of focus.
There is an amazing cohesion between the character, the story, and the action. For John Wick is gun fu. The same way John Woo's hero embodied the wuxia spirit, every shot John Wick fires brings with it a cinematic history that can be traced back to The Matrix, to Hong Kong, to spaghetti westerns, and to American westerns. And so, Hollywood crafted its own style of gun fu with a unique visual, a unique narrative, and a unique spirit. What a journey! With both The Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 on the horizon, it is an exciting time for fans of gun fu. In the 20+ years since the original Matrix movie, Hollywood has been in constant experimentation, giving the same concept vastly different flavors from one film to another. Gun fu may be one of the few remaining action genres in Hollywood that still values reinvention, that rewards change, that craves originality. And in today's cinematic landscape, it is not easy to be original. So, as much as I am excited to see Keanu kicking ass all over again, it also makes me hopeful for the future. So many great original ideas came from the world of gun fu. I just can't wait to see what's next.